Hello, good afternoon, everyone, and happy 2022. I hope you and your families are doing well and staying safe and healthy as we face these new variants of COVID. My name is Susan Knapp, Chair of JDC's Latin America Committee. Welcome to our first forum of 2022, where we will explore more about our work in the region. First, we're going to learn about a pilot program developed by JDC and a partner in Argentina aimed at improving digital literacy among the elderly. We recruited young adults as volunteers to help them with the learning process. This has served as another way to help the elderly overcome loneliness and isolation during the pandemic. Second, we will hear from young leaders participating in a program for madrichim, leaders of Jewish non-formal education programs at diverse JCCs throughout Argentina. The training program is focused on improving their leadership skills, learning from one another, and acquiring new tools to help them in their role. And finally, we will share an update on how the Jewish community of Cuba is managing active despite the challenges created by the pandemic. We will hear from David Prinstein, Vice President of the community, and Rabbi Shmuel Steinhendler, who has been working with JDC and the community in Cuba for almost 3 decades. At the end of the presentations, we will have time for Q&A. Thank you again, and I will turn it over to Sergio now.
Hello, hi to everyone. Those who don't know me, I'm Sergio Wieder, JDC's Regional Director for Latin America, and I'm really very glad to be here with you today. Welcome to our Latin American Forum, and as Susan, our chair, said, our first topic will be presenting a program called Virtuali. Among the many challenges uncovered by the pandemic, there was one which stood out very, very clearly, and that has been the importance to improve digital literacy skills. While this can apply to any age, it has certainly been the case for elderly population. During the first months of the pandemic, the ability to manage those tools was vital for accessing or purchasing goods, as well as to be able to be in contact with their loved ones and overcome isolation. We partnered with AMIA, the Buenos Aires Quehilá, and together developed a pilot program which connected elderly population with young adults and offered an opportunity for training in digital literacy skills. 150 older adults and 101 young people took part of this pilot. We will share a short video of testimonies from some of their participants. And after the video, I will be very glad to invite, and I'd like to introduce Nicole Elstein, Nikki, a member of our team in Buenos Aires, to share with you about another program. Thank you.
Virtuali es el programa de inclusión sociodigital para personas mayores a través de la facilitación de jóvenes voluntarios que JDC desarrolló en alianza con AMIA entre mayo y noviembre de 2021 en Argentina. Para el mismo, se capacitaron más de 100 jóvenes voluntarios como facilitadores digitales. Se diseñaron tutoriales virtuales y se habilitó un campus virtual que propicia el intercambio entre los voluntarios con el equipo de Virtuali. 150 personas mayores estuvieron involucradas en este proyecto, que contempla un proceso de enseñanza-aprendizaje 1 a 1 durante 12 semanas, que contó además con un cierre grupal realizado por Zoom. Los encuentros entre voluntarios y personas mayores se planifican en función del conocimiento de cada uno de ellos, pero atendiendo también a las motivaciones y deseos de qué se quiere aprender, desde cómo encender un celular hasta la navegación en Internet. Por lo tanto, es un proceso único y creativo el que se construye. En algunos casos, la persona mayor y el voluntario participan de la misma comunidad u organización, pero en otros viven en ciudades diferentes. Como el 100% del programa es virtual, nos permite crear una verdadera comunidad digital. Inclusión digital es inclusión social, porque acorta la brecha digital y también los efectos de aislamientos, que en época de pandemia se profundizaron. Y también porque permite la creación de vínculos intergeneracionales, así como instalan en las agendas institucionales esta temática.
Hace más de 25 años que trabajo en educación y bueno, a partir de la pandemia, las herramientas de comunicación online dejaron de ser un lujo para ser una necesidad. Hoy en día necesitamos de estas herramientas para comunicarnos con un familiar que tenemos en el exterior, para vender un artículo, para buscar un trabajo, para tantas cosas. Y me pareció muy importante atraer a este porcentaje de personas que quedaron por fuera de este mundo virtual. Me trajo mucha satisfacción cuando me contaban clase a clase logros que pudieron hacer, por ejemplo, entrar a alguna aplicación, poder vender ese artículo que tenían en sus casas y que no lo podían vender, poder promocionar sus servicios. Fue muy positivo, mejor de lo que esperaba. Bueno, los temas que trabajamos fueron, por ejemplo, poder editar en Canva. Julia necesitaba para promocionar sus servicios, hacer tarjetas, promociones. Después vimos Instagram, cómo poder promocionar, vender. Me pareció muy novedoso y muy lindo. Yo trabajé con chicos en forma online en la pandemia y no me resultó muy fácil, y la verdad que con adultos yo tenía un poco de miedo, pero todo lo contrario, fue muy positivo.
Yo me anoté en proyecto virtual y porque estaba necesitando algunas herramientas más para a lo que me dedico, que durante la pandemia cambió toda mi vida. Yo daba talleres presenciales, soy psicólogo social, soy counselor. Como tuve que empezar a trabajar con Zoom, el tema del Zoom me provocaba algunas dudas muy grandes. Por suerte me tocó una docente como Nati, muy dedicada, muy aplicada, muy fácil de entenderla, y ella siempre se adelantaba unos pasitos antes de lo que yo quería y daba justo en la tecla. Fue muy importante todo lo que estuvimos hablando. Yo avancé muchísimo, sobre todo con Instagram, que es la herramienta que necesito para publicitar mi actividad ahora que lo tengo que hacer online. Y el programa en sí mismo me parecen muy, muy prácticos, muy fácil de acceder, y una idea brillante de las dos organizaciones que lo llevan a cabo. Así que sin duda yo lo recomendaría y mucho. Las personas de mi edad, tengan o no conocimientos, deberían hacerlo, porque para los adultos mayores como yo y otros es un trabajo cognitivo muy importante para seguir siendo lo que somos, personas pensantes y deseantes.
Okay. Good afternoon to everyone. Can you hear me well? Perfect. Hello, my name is Nicole Elstein, and I am a member of the JDC LATAM team working in LEATIL, the Leadership Development Area. For the last 4 years, JDC have led the Quillarón program aimed at those who lead madrichim team leaders in Argentina, in partnership with AMIA, Buenos Aires Keila, the Conservative Synagogues, and the Federation of Maccabiah JCC in Argentina. This program has been designed and sought to strengthen the role of youth coordinator of non-formal education spaces, and in turn, generate spaces for exchange between them. In Argentina, there are 3 important movements that are dedicated to non-formal education: the Maccabiah JCC Federation, the Conservative Synagogues, and the Zionist Youth Movement. Many of the young people who participate in these spaces do not attend Jewish day school, So non-formal education becomes their main link to Jewish community life. The objective of JDC is to achieve synergy between community organizations and install capacity so that strategic alliances between organizations are strengthened and greater commitment and leadership among young Argentine Jews is achieved. In 2021, Quillarón worked with more than 50 young leaders and sustained the partnership with the before-mentioned organization, because we understand the importance of working in partnership and strengthening our ties in pursuit of collaborative work, mutual enrichment, and the non-duplication of resources. In addition to the monthly training and education meetings with prominent speakers from the community, we considered that it was relevant to have an innovative space of tutorials in small groups with the aim of putting into practice the concepts learned, a space to receive aspects related to peers, to the role of the coordinator, the work with the teams, and generate more personalized spaces. The participants highly valued this space in which they could also exchange with their peers. We invite you now to watch a video where you can listen to our partners and program participants.
Con respecto a Quillarón, yo creo que es buenísimo todo lo que se genera. El intercambio que se genera, las herramientas que les da, creo que está bueno que ellos puedan tener capacitaciones con gente de mucha calidad y que viene a traer muchos contenidos y muchas herramientas nuevas, sobre todo en todo lo que tiene que ver con gestión de liderazgo joven, que hoy en día es algo totalmente difícil. En Quillarón todos los años empezaron a participar más cantidad de coordinadores en el programa y trabajamos mucho en conjunto. A partir de eso empezamos a hacer diferentes proyectos, sobre todo con FACMA, se empezó a generar una red muy interesante con los diferentes actores. En primer lugar, los madrichim hicieron un grupo que están trabajando en diferentes proyectos, arman los actos de juventud. El año pasado armaron un seminario en medio de la pandemia que participaron más de 700 jóvenes, más de 700 madrichim, y lo planificaron exclusivamente ellos con nuestro acompañamiento. Después trabajamos también en diferentes capacitaciones, en espacios de intercambio entre directores, y ya estamos empezando con nuevos proyectos y nuevas iniciativas para el 2022. Creemos que este es el camino, el del trabajo en conjunto entre los distintos movimientos, en que los madrichim se sigan conociendo más. Tenemos otros proyectos pensados a mediano plazo, pero todo surgió a raíz de Quillarón y del trabajo en conjunto que se generó ahí, y eso hizo que podamos agrandar la red de trabajo.
Lo más nuevo que me llevo es el intercambio que tuve con gente que me abrió formas de pensar en mi rol y también del impacto que puedo llegar a tener al estar ocupando este lugar y también como, bueno, realmente hacerme responsable del lugar en el que estoy. Creo que algo que surgió mucho en Quillarón y que me hizo sentir muy acompañada también, digo, el curso en general, es que todos sentíamos que estaba habiendo un cambio en la concepción del ser madrij y de nuestro rol, y todos teníamos también una base parecida de lo que queremos generar o de a qué vamos, que me hizo sentir muy acompañada y que también nos hace enfrentar quizás como, bueno, saber que hay alguien que me va a acompañar, aunque no sea al lado mío, pero sí hay alguien que está transitando algo más o menos parecido a lo mío en otra organización, con respecto también a todos los desafíos y los cambios que vamos a vivir el año que viene, teniendo en cuenta no solo la pandemia, sino los cambios a nivel mundial de las formas de conseguir la educación.
Creo que es un proyecto que nos ayuda y nos acompaña, además de capacitarnos para desempeñar nuestros roles de la mejor manera posible. Así que creo de verdad que está buenísimo y que es importante participar en estos espacios. De los encuentros me llevo sobre todo conexiones, contactos, ganas de seguir participando y proyectándome dentro de la educación y del ámbito comunitario. Creo que es muy importante que haya espacios en los cuales nos potencien y nos conecten con otras personas que tienen las mismas ganas de participar y de seguir creciendo y desarrollarnos, generé muchísimos intercambios con mis pares, sobre todo al ser de todas instituciones diferentes y de realidades distintas. Creo que en la heterogeneidad está el éxito de este programa, donde podemos, a pesar de las diferencias, encontrarnos y potenciarnos hacia un futuro mejor y más colectivo, y no solo vernos como competencias. Si tenemos estos espacios de intercambio y de encuentro, podemos quizás pensar en manera conjunta nuevos desafíos para la educación juvenil no formal. Algo con lo que me fui del programa es el desafío de la profesionalización de nuestros roles. Muchas veces lo hacemos por placer o por devolverle a nuestra comunidad todo lo que nos dio, y también nos olvidamos de que estamos tratando con el futuro del mundo, con niños y niñas que van a crecer y hoy en día tienen que ser educados con los mejores valores y las mejores experiencias.
We see more and more clearly the importance of working with young people and generating spaces for exchange and training so that we can strengthen the future leaders of our communities. At JDC, we are proud to be part and to lead programs like this, which address challenges while at the same time bring different groups of the community to think together and discuss what futures we want for our communities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nikki. Thanks so much. And congratulations on this great work. To you, to your colleagues from other organizations, our partner organizations, and also to Natalia, who was on our earlier video about Virtuali. We are moving from generation to generation, older adults connecting with young people, and now young people who lead groups, non-formal education initiatives, and learn from one another and exchange their experiences together, because there are common challenges that they need to address, irrespective if they are at the JCC or at the synagogue or a youth movement. And I believe that's part of the beauty of what we can craft and bring together at JDC.
Hi, dear friends. Good afternoon. As it was said, I was introduced already. I am Rabbi Shmuel Steinler. You know, these days, since Sergio contacted me, I went to look into my memories, and tomorrow, exactly tomorrow, it's going to be 30 years exactly when I landed for the first time in Havana, 30 years ago. Since then, I've been over 200 times in the island on behalf of the JDC. That means our mishpacha, working with the other part of our mishpacha in the island. And I want to catch from where David mentioned Tu B'Shvat, because in some way we have been walking and working together with them to seed the future of a developed, committed, vibrant Jewish life in the island. And even though, well, we heard already from him, I'm going to try just shortly to add, and then if you have some questions, to try to answer them. Now we see that the harvest, even with the pandemic, is there. There are committed leaders. There are people who started from scratch with nothing in the hand, but eagerly awaiting some. I suppose most of you have visited the island and shared with them and felt the spirit of how they are a vibrant Jewish community. And this is thanks to, allow me to say, our work in some way. Each one, the donors, the officers, the professionals, each one has its part in this dance, this concert of life, of Jewish life that is going on in the island. When David mentioned Tu B'Shvat, it's exactly properly, because it recalls us what it means to see it again, to ensure the future and the renewal, the constant renewal, and keep hope toward the future, even with all the uncertainty, as Sergio already mentioned, navigating this oceans of nowhere. We don't know exactly where and what to expect in the future. Last Thursday, the team of the Morim, the Tzevet Morim of our Mahon, organized through the Kita Pardes, the one David mentioned, the adult group. They went out to get in a team work with the GNF, which is one of they understood, and we foster this and nurture the options to broadening working through using the links JDC can offer to work with other Jewish organizations. And together with GNF, they went out to a place to celebrate Tu B'Shvat. And this coming Sunday, it's going to be the in-presence activity with the forum allowed according to the protocols. And this is what David already shared. It's going to be done this coming Sunday in the morning. When we started 30 years ago, one of our commitment was to have this small Jewish community in the map of Jewish life. Amir for sure remembers that. Amir Shavif, you are a witness for that. And now they are a part of the map of the Jewish world. They are part of Ein Letzion. They are part and being invited by BBYO. They are part and invited by Maccabi World Union. They're part and invited by GNF. And all those things, we have to feel proud because in some way, more, less, we have been the ones who enabled this through our commitment to support the continuous sustainability of their life. Now, what's coming up toward the future? Halevai, we would like to know. There's nowhere in the world we can be sure what to expect. But one thing for sure is the Jewish life in the island will go on, even with these difficulties, even being now only based on the virtuality with all these difficulties. But anyway, they learned how to be creative and be proactive. And this is a challenge for us. They have been able to develop all kinds of opportunities and activities and go forward with all these difficulties and facing those challenges. And as you know better than me, we shall overcome. You know this song much better than myself. This is, I think, their anthem for sure. They learned it. And in some way, we have to feel proud that we learned that together by walking and talking and building together with them. So it's like a blessing for us, an opportunity and a challenge, and to walk together and witness and enabling them to go forward in a Jewish life in whatever way. And maybe there will be questions later on, but I think this is the proper moment. David mentioned about the celebration of Hanukkah, which is in the island. Some of you witnessed it or have read or heard, even in one Hanukkah years ago, even the proper Fidel Castro appeared there when he learned that this was a memorial celebration of the less against the empire. So he said, this is my celebration, have to be there. That was the way Fidel Castro came down to the Jewish community and shared the celebration of Hanukkah. This time, they weren't able, as David explained and shared. So let's finish this moment of us by hearing this moment David shared with the leadership and with Abraham and his wife. And Jacob, sorry.
Baruch ato Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam הוא אשר קדישנו עקבותיו, וציוונו לימים נר חנוכה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שעשה ניסים לאבותינו וימים ההם בזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. אמן.
So these blessings apply properly to us. Miracles occur always in our history, and we are part, JDC is part of the miracle of the revival of the Jewish life in the island, and through that, we are committed to go forth and keep this Happy Hanukkah. You see, even David learned to speak English as well. So miracles occur and we are part of them, and we have to keep, like Yaakov just said, so God helped us to survive and supervive till today. Let's work together to join with our brothers and sisters in the island, not just to survive, but to supervive over this pandemic, over all the difficulties, and go forward toward a better time, a better world, and a prosper Jewish life in the island and wherever the hand of JDC is being extended to nurture.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rabbi Shmuel. Shmuel for us. We Shmuel for everyone. And I have to say, there's not much more that I can speak after hearing those beautiful words. So I want to simply say that I'm sure that we are all moved from what we hear from David Prinstein and from Rabbi Shmuel's words, and I know that there are already questions. I see Claudio Pincus. Hi, Claudio. So good to see you. I think you've been raising your hand from some time, so I don't want to keep you waiting.
I don't know if I raised my hand. I was walking around getting something to drink. So,
Okay.
So let me ask you a question. First, let me say hello to Rabbi Steinhandler. Long time I haven't seen. Hello, Shmuel. I thought the presentation was excellent, and I think the programs are really impactful. I think, Sergio, maybe we should measure the impact when we talk about 150 people working on this literacy, computer literacy. How many people are we not reaching? What is our desire to reach others? And what is the impact? How do we know the level of change that occurs? I think many of the programs in Israel that I've been personally involved have some very clear measurements of the impact and how to expand the program to others. The same thing happened with the madrichim. They mentioned 700 children participating. I don't know if this next year we're going to be another 700 or so on, but we should be able to see how can we expand the program and how we should budget for a major increase to such program and measure the impact.
Okay, this is a very. I want to thank you, Claudio, for raising the 2 points. Regarding the digital literacy program, this was a pilot program, so our intention was not to reach a wide number of people, but to test an idea and also connect with similar programs that we've learned that have been in place in other communities. We believe that by networking with those other programs in different countries, this will surely expand and will engage more and more people. We received very positive feedback from participants, and we are now planning for the next step. Regarding the training program for madrichim, let me say something and amend something that it's probably was not clear. We're not talking about 700 children participating. We are talking 700 agents who work with groups of children. So that has another level and another scale, much broader. And I believe that not me, it's not that I believe, we considered in our team that one of the major achievements was not only the scope to be able to get together these 700 madrichim, but also the fact that we connected different groups that, of course, there are ideological roots, if we can tell that way, from, let's say, the conservative movement has its own ideological roots. The Zionist youth movements have their own ideological roots. The Maccabi JCC have their own ideological roots. However, there are similar challenges that they face, and they learn that they can learn from one another, respecting their different affiliations, but finding that there are ways to bridge cooperation among them. And that's one of the points that I believe are really, we really value about this. I don't know if this somehow answers your questions.
Thank you, Sergio. I just wanted to express appreciation. Rabbi Shmuel, I'm new at JDC. I've been the CEO only for a year now. And so there's so much, because it's COVID, that I haven't seen. But I have seen a number of videos of what the experiences of Kabbalat Shabbat, of other community activities on WhatsApp from the Jewish community of Cuba. And they are among the most profoundly moving few minutes than anyone could experience. In part, not only because we have the privilege of being used to Zoom, no big deal, but the ingenuity required to create that sense of community on WhatsApp with different people leading. Now it's your turn to say the Shema, now it's your turn to light the candles. It's just beautiful. And so I just want to express my appreciation, first of all, to all of my colleagues at JDC, who it's been such a privilege to, become part of this work, to all the board members and all the community leaders, all of us working together. It's a privilege to witness and be a part of it. And I wanted to just say thank you.
Thank you, Ariel.
Thank you very much. Okay, I cannot see everyone on the same screen. I've seen Nancy Ackerman and Mark raising their hands. I'm not skipping your question, Susan.
Not a problem.
Give me 1 minute. Nancy or Mark, please.
I'll start where I can wrap up. I just wanted to tell everybody, the last time I was, and the only other time I was in Cuba was probably 15 or so years ago. And I went in thinking, well, what do I have in common with any of these people? And aside from, the general, but I sat down to lunch with members of the Jewish community, and across from me on the table was an older woman. I had just lost my aunt before I came. And here was this woman across the table whose name tag said her name was Frida Seidman, which was my aunt's name. Exactly spelled the same, Freda. It was a goosebump moment for me. And it was just like, I couldn't get over it. So that was my experience in Cuba.
If I could just say,
yes, please.
Sergio, just for a minute, because I know we're coming to the end. I'd like to thank Susan Knapp for her leadership as chairman of this committee, and Sergio for your professional leadership here. it wouldn't be the same without either one of you. I also want to thank everyone that's on this call today, many from communities far and wide around the world, and they're seeing JDC, some of you for the first time, our work. So I just wanted to welcome you and let you know that any of the fora that you see, we love having you here and learning more about JDC, and we hope you'll come more often. And if your community doesn't let you know, ask them to let you know, or go on our website and we'll let you know. But thank you so much for being here. And if this video and what happened last week in Texas didn't convince all of us that we are one people no matter where we live, I don't know what else will. So again, on behalf of JDC, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. I just want to comment on what you've said, Mark. Let me say that many times I'm the face who speaks for Latin America, but it's the work of a great team, very dedicated team that we have in Buenos Aires, in Santiago. Rabbi Shmuel lives in San Jose in Costa Rica, where Miriam Lipsick, who works with the community in Cuba, also lives. And while many of our team are on vacation because it's summer in Argentina, all the rest are here, and they are part of this great work. I mean, all this great work is a result of a team effort.
Do we have more questions, Sergio?
I don't
Any
see
more questions?
No.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us today, and thank you to our guests, both our speakers and our guests from the broader Jewish community, and my fellow JDC board members. I also want to thank Sergio and his team, who, as he said, do so much for us, for their hard work in creating, executing, and maintaining our programs. We hope everyone enjoyed today's forum. I understand that a few people have indicated through the chat that they would like to have a private conversation to follow up, which we are happy to do. If you want to contact either me or Sergio directly, and we're happy to set up some one-on-one time, over in the next week or so, just to follow up in a more informal environment. So my cell phone is 917-699-0830. 917-699-0830. Sergio's information is on the invitation, so please feel free to reach out to either one of us, and we'll make sure we get something organized. Thank you again.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.